All right, let's talk about Congress and politicians in their late 70s, 80s, going into their 90s, okay? I say this because we need to have term limits and, yes, age limits. And look, we are born, we have a beginning, middle, and end. Hell, and I don't know when my end time will happen, but someday, if nothing bad happens to me, I'll reach my 80s. But guess what? There's always a closing time. I'm not saying people can't do anything, but when it comes down to the halls of Congress, it is getting frightening, embarrassing, and it enrages me that a global superpower such as the United States, Congress has become a glorified old folks' home. And these people are making decisions every day of our lives. And for the past decades, these greedy politicians, both Democrats and Republicans, have people in positions of power, these senators and House representatives who are also doing insider trading. Follow Unusual Whales on X because it reveals what these politicians are doing. They are making these policies, and in turn, they are not mentally or physically fit. You got Nancy Pelosi. Yes, I know she had an injury, but she's walking on two handlebars. She is not fit for office. I don't care if she has an injury. Her time is done. You had Dianne Feinstein, who passed away last year, didn't show up for work for 6 months. If I did something like that at any of my other jobs or when I served in the Marine Corps, let me tell you something. It's over for me. It'd be over for any of you if you did this. We had a United States Congresswoman, a Republican, founded an old folks nursing home. And now on the floors of the United States Congress, 76-year-old Representative John Larson had an episode. It looked like a stroke. I've seen this before. All of you have seen it before, but perhaps I'm overthinking it. Perhaps I'm wrong here. But here, in real time, age limits, term limits now in Congress. This cannot be allowed. This is elder abuse. And not to mention, it's a huge disservice to the constituents, not only in his district, but nationwide. Red states, blue states, small towns, big cities. We are being represented by people who are not in their physical prime, who are being manipulated. And yes, of course, their successors are waiting in wings just to be controlled by the lobby groups. But God damn it, this system doesn't work. And the reason why it doesn't work is because it's dying before our very eyes. And it's going to take us along with us.
Don't worry, no one on the Republican side in the House and Senate who control both the House and Senate is going to speak up.
Right there, 13 seconds in. 13 seconds in, there's a pause. Now watch how the tone changes. I'm going to rewind again, but listen.
Don't worry, no one on the Republican side in the House and Senate who control both the House and Senate is going to speak up and challenge us.
Embarrassing. Uh-huh.
But we need to protect Americans' privacy and their social security. For 40% of all Americans, Social Security is the basis for their retirement and their retirement savings. And for 28 million Americans, Social Security is the only thing that they have. And that's why we have to make sure that we are protecting it as well.
It's either he had a mini stroke, crapped himself, or did both at the same time. All right, because he's speaking all boisterous and loud right here.
Don't worry, no one on the Republican side in the House and Senate who control both the House and Senate is going to speak up
And right there, it's either he crapped himself, had a heart attack, or a mini stroke, or both at the same time. And then the awkward silence.
Challenge us.
And it's like, God damn it, what happened? The brain is buffering right now. Did he recalibrate? Is he restarting? Is he somehow automatically forgetting where he was at? This is not what we want, but yet to the diehard liberals out there, look, I get it, especially if you're in a solid blue district. I get it. I get it. I get it. You know, Trump, woogie, boogie, boogie, he scares you. But it's been revealed 8 years ago that the Democrats are a private institution. They pick people who they want. This is what the Democrats want. You want the standard traditional old guard? Fine. But when they start having strokes or breaking their hips or crapping themselves or forgetting where they're at, just remember, vote blue no matter who. This is what you're voting for because the party's telling you to vote for them. But oh, wait, you're not voting. You are participating. There was an attempt to try and reform the Democrat Party, but it's like being eaten by the bear. The bear will eat you. You can't change in the inside because once the bear's eating you and playing with your rib cage on its snout, it's digesting you and it'll crap you out. Go ask Justice Democrats or Brand New Congress or Our Revolution or DSA and see how that turned out. That's why the Democrats lost so bad on November 5th. You had a guy forgetting where he was at. I mean, clearly. But hold on. Let's talk about what happened. Connecticut Representative John Larson freezes mid-speech on House floor after suffering adverse reaction. Adverse reaction. Sorry, I didn't read it properly. Adverse reaction to medication. Does that look like an adverse reaction to medication? Like, No, it looked more like, oh, I'm having a mini stroke. Oh, I just crapped my pants. Joe Biden, in his greatest adventure ever, John Larson versus Biden. Someone's crapping their pants. Representative John Larson stalled and immediately froze mid-speech on the House of Representatives floor, according to an alarming clip of the moment, which his team claimed as an adverse reaction to a newly prescribed medication. Well, then maybe he shouldn't be serving in the halls of Congress. It is a stressful job, after all. And the party is already failing as it is. Brilliant job, Democrats. The 76-year-old Democrat from Connecticut was in the middle of giving a speech on the House floor about concerns over Social Security after the Trump administration recently granted Elon Musk access to sensitive payment information through the U.S. Treasury Department. George Carlin, you were right, you magnificent bastard. No, he's not vomiting in his grave. No, he's not spinning in his grave. The great comedian St. George Carlin is up in heaven doing a huge Broadway musical saying, I told you, SOBs, when I said it was one big club, they're going to find a way to get back that Social Security. They were going to do it. And it looks like because of the Democrats being the keen-eyed eagles that they are, put a bunch of old dogs in front of Social Security. And, well, the old dogs, they can't hunt anymore. And there it is, his awkward silence. He suddenly came to a complete halt midway through what was supposed to be a 5-minute speech, freezing as he seemingly choked on his words. Don't worry, no one on the Republican side of the House and U.S. Senate, who control both the House and Senate, is going to speak up, Larson said, before he abruptly cut himself off, freezing as he stared dead ahead and tried to get his bearings. He doesn't know where he's at. And then he goes on to speak even slower. Larson gradually recovered from there, but there was a stark difference between how he started and ended, seemingly losing all fervor as he tried to fight through whatever reaction his medication may have caused. Hey, let's have democracy in the chat. Was it an adverse reaction to his medication? Type 1 for yes, kid, it was. A type 2, no. The man has a lot of health problems, and his PR team quickly had to make an excuse. I wonder how many 2s will show up in the chat. His office quickly addressed a blip as the clip started to circulate on X. And of course, we here at Hardlands Media are talking about because this is the first time we've talked about senior citizens in Congress. This isn't good for a global superpower. But I also want to pull this up here as well. Here's Turtle Boy Mitch McConnell, Republican in the United States Senate. Just want to stop here, run a quick second here. And I will reshare this video because, last year, I swear, this was Dianne Feinstein. There's Senator Mitch McConnell, who constantly keeps on having falls. He's falling upwards all the time.
How are you feeling, Leader McConnell? How are you feeling, Leader McConnell?
Same response Dianne Feinstein gave. Same response that everyone else around her did as well. You know, when Chucky Boy Schumer met Dianne Feinstein, you know, she didn't know where she was at. She was being wheelchaired around. You know, listen, there's a lot of problems with Chicago politics. I get it. But people of the great state of Kentucky, you could do so much better. I don't know what kind of power and influence or machine McConnell has working for him there in your state, but my God, term limits, age limits. This is what's guiding this country to the crapper. It was long before Trump. So before anyone says, oh, Trump is doing this, Trump's doing that. Now, the country was in a spiral long before Trump even stepped foot in the political arena in 2016. You have these old politicians not letting go of power, refusing to let go of power, and now in their absolute decline, mentally and physically, they're taking us all down with them. You want to know why you're not being represented? It's because their aides are helping them sign legislation to benefit their corporate donors and lobbyists. You don't have a say in our constitutional republic because we're an oligarchy. We're not a democracy. No, heavens forbid, no, we're not a democracy. But this is what we have. Just one more time. Look, let's rewind this again. This is a United States senator in a position of power, one of the most influential, high-profile senators currently serving in Washington, D.C., in the great state of Kentucky. He's not there.
How are you feeling, Leader McConnell? How are you feeling, Leader McConnell?
He's not going to answer you. He ain't going to answer you. Not going to get that answer. Not at all, period. Over a year ago, that was Dianne Feinstein. A year ago, that was Dianne Feinstein. One more thing here, too. Just want to pull this up here before we go back to the article of the also fantastic Democrat from Connecticut, Representative Larson. I just want to pull this up here for everybody's witness firsthand. Okay? Because this is an absolute embarrassment. Let's pull this up here.
Oh. That's right.
So it's not a Democrat issue. It's a Republican issue. This was last year. Last year.
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026? All right, I'm sorry, you all. We're going to need a minute. Senator. Penny.
Again, last year, another pause.
Whether it's, well, it's the first bill that protect our assault, our bill. Go.
Oh, Nancy, having a reboot moment.
Shots in the arm.
And this one right here, I'll read this to you. We covered this earlier this year. We then received a tip from a Granger constituent. Now, this person is a Republican. All right, the Congresswoman has been residing at a local memory care and assisted living home for some time after being found wandering, lost, and confused in her former cultural district, West 7th neighborhood. The Dallas Express team visited the facility to confirm whether Granger was residing there and to inquire about how she planned to vote on the spending bill. Upon arrival, 2 employees confirmed that Granger is indeed living at the facility. However, we were not permitted to conduct an interview regarding the current spending debate in the House of Representatives or how or if Ms. Granger is planned to vote. So, Nancy Pelosi, Democrat. You have, of course, Representative John Larson, Democrat, Senator Mitch McConnell, Republican, and wait a minute, finally, of course, Representative Granger as well, Republican. So, what do we see here? In both parties, you have complete and utter madness because this is how the system is run. See, you don't pick your representative or senator. It's the corporate donors and the lobby groups. They vote. Their vote is the highest order. And their order of the day is elect people that will be good puppets until their brain no longer functions and they die in office. We have perfected feudalism now, an odd form of it, where the old, or either that, completely decide our legislation because they're not making the plans. They're being told what to do. Now, maybe at one point, they did come into office, maybe caring about helping out their constituents, and I'm being generous here. But this is elder abuse. And in turn, this elder abuse that we're seeing is being afflicted to us, the U.S. citizen. These are the same senile senior citizens who tell you that you're not worthy of Medicare for all. Oh, no investment into our infrastructure, which is why our trains are derailing, our planes are falling apart. No corporate oversight because these corporations are then in turn screwing us over. No oversight over any of these government institutions that are wasting our hard-earned taxpayer money. This is abuse to all of us. And we need to break away from this two-party system. But this is what's representing us. And the sad fact is there's a lot of brainwashed people in this country who think, oh, this is fine. I'll keep on voting for my same senator or House representative. They're okay. They're not okay. They're falling apart and dying before our very eyes as the republic goes down with it. You want to know why things are bad? A shutdown in 3, 2, 1 for everyone to witness.
Don't worry, no one on the Republican side in the House and Senate who control both the House and Senate is going to speak up.
Yes, a loud voice and then a whimper at the end.
And challenge us.
Mm-hmm. To challenge what? We have become a joke. Our entire Congress is a joke. A glorified old folks' home. And no matter what generation you're part of, Boomer, Xer, Millennial, Gen Z, hell, Gen Alpha, we'll throw you in on this one too. Welcome to the party, everybody. The reason why things are declining is because Congress has been on the pathway for decline. Where's the accountability? Term limits, term limits, term limits.